अस्त्युत्तरस्यां दिशि देवतात्मा हिमालयो नाम नकाधिराजः पूर्वापरौ तोयनिधिवगाह्य स्थितः पृथिव्या इव मानदण्डः. We just started the fifth Sarga. So this is the place where Parvati tapas is being described in the Sarga. Nishamya chainam tapase krutodhyamam sutam girisham pratisakta manasam uvacha mena parirabhya vakshasa nivarayanti mahato munibratat. Mena, having heard that her daughter wants to go and do tapas, she tries to stop her daughter. Mena tapase krutodhyamam sutam nishamya, having heard that she was going to do tapas. Girisham prati sakta manasam. Her mind was also completely attached to Bhagavan, Maheshwara. Parirabhya vakshasa. She hugged her and tried to stop her from this difficult muni vratam. It is a vratam that is usually, the austerities are performed by people who can stand those austerities, right? So she tried to stop her daughter from going to the forest for tapas. I have to start from the fourth shloka here. Manishitayarcha griheshu devataha tapah kvavatse kvachatavakam vapuhu padam saheta bhramarasya pelavam shirisha pushpam napunah patatrinaha. Manishita santi griheshu devataha is the reading in Mallinatha's text. That's the more popular reading. Manishita santi griheshu devataha. So Manishita is more like manasaha ishtaha devataha grihe eva santi iti. But Narayana Pandita and Arunagirinatha, they both adopt a different reading. Manishitaya archa griheshu devataha. Griheshu eva devataha archa. For what? Manishitaya. If you have something desired, if you want to attain something, Manishitaya, Chaturthi is more like Tadartham. That is Manishitam labdhum, Ishtam labdhum. In order to praptum, in order to attain something that you desire, we have gods at our home. You can just, archa, you can worship them here at home itself. Vatse kvat tapaha kvacha tavakam vapuhu. Where is this penance that you are talking about? Which is very difficult. And where is your vapuhu? Where is your body? Tavakam vapuhu, tavakam twadiyam vapuhu. Kva, where is it? When you show this, it means you are trying to show the disparity between the two things. So tapas is something that has to be achieved by people who have the body, physical, determination, and also something they are used to, that rough terrain. Suddenly, if I ask someone to do mountain climbing who is not even used to that, it will be tough for them to even grab hold of one piece of a rock, right? So this is something like that. She has been born and brought up in this family in a very soft nature, and so tavakam vapuhu, your body is used to this kind of luxuries. Why do you want to go and put your body through such hardships of tapas? Iti. This is her dialogue. Padam saheta bhramarasya pelavam. She substantiates it by saying, imagine a flower which is very soft. Shirisha pushpam. Generally, the petals of a pushpam is very soft. Shirisha pushpam here indicates a small flower which cannot, which can probably hold only the tender legs of a bee. But if a big bird comes and sits on it, how can it stand that? So Shirisha pushpam is even softer than regular flowers. Usually I don't know what the botanical name and all this. You can try to figure it out. So Shirisha pushpam, the flower, Shirisha flower, Bhramarasya pelavam padam saheta, it can tolerate, saheta, it can tolerate the soft padam, pelavam padam, the soft leg of a bee, Bhramara, na punaha patatrinaha padam. It cannot punaha patatrinaha padam na saheta. Both these words have to be connected to patatrinaha also. Patatri is a bird, where if a big bird comes and sits on that flower, it will immediately fall down. So it cannot stand that weight. So he compares her body, her form, to a soft, small flower, which can only take in so much. It is only fit for palace luxury. It cannot tolerate the hardships of a vanavasa. Kleshena vina api.
Iti samasukti va nidarshana va kim?
Adu varu pinnadi he gives us the alankara, arthantranyasa. Yeah. Arthantranyasa da lokokti dwara samarthanam atra. Yeah. Kleshena vina api manishita siddhi pradam karmantaram upadarshayati. Any work can have many paths, right? So if you want to achieve something, you can have different approaches to it. Mena, her mother suggests a different approach here. Why should you go do tapas? There is another karmantaram upadarshayati. She tries to indicate another work which is also going to give her manishita siddhi. Kleshena vina, and it's also more desirable because there is no tough klesha, difficulties there to follow through like tapas, so you can easily achieve your success. So vatse tvam manishitaya griheshu devataha archa. I have so many devatas in our house, so please, you can do the archana here itself. Vatse bale anaya sambudhya mridu shariratvat. I was looking at this because this was having really romba kocha kochan irundhathu. Anaya sambudhya. Okay. One has too many mistakes, one edition. The other edition is not readable. Anaya sambudhya, by addressing her daughter like this, mridu shariratvat atyanta duschare tapasi anadhikaraha uktaha. By just saying vatse, you're a child. Even that sambodhanam indicates that, you have a very soft body here. You don't know anything about the world here. So atyanta duschare tapasi anadhikaraha. It's not proper bias. The age is also not the right age to go and do tapas. This is like vriddhekshvako vratam yuva. Idhula varolya Raghuvamshathula. You have a shloka where Rama is sent to the forest and Kālidāsa says Rama followed the vratam of vriddha ikshvaku. So he did not follow the method of Shaishave Abhyasta Vidyanam, Yavvane Vishayeshinam, Vardhake Muni Vrittinam. You'll have to take up the Muni Vritti, the work of a Muni or the behavior of a Muni only in Vardhakyam, during old age. But Rama followed the Vriddha Ikshvaku Vratam as a Yuva. Similarly, she also says this, Vatse iti ahuya. It means you are still young. This is not the age to go and do tapas. Manishitaya ishtam artham labdhum, in order to get whatever you want. Griheshu devataha pratimarupena vartamanaha saubhagyapradaha indranyadyaha archa pujaya. Indrani. So there are many devatas here. It doesn't say about Shakti, or generally when we say devatas, we say Lakshmi is there at home, or we have the Pratima of Saraswati, etc. But he picks out a Vedic god here. Vaidika devata tu Indrani Indrahacha. They are actually compared to Maheshwara and Shakti in the Vedas. They are very powerful devatas in the Vedas, right? So she says Indranyadayaha. And when Parvati's episode happened, it is immediately after Daksha Prajapati. So which means we are still in Krita Yuga. And Krita Yuga is a time of tapas and yaga yajnadi. When the gods powerful would have been those devatas who were being offered ahuti in the yagas. So which means the Vaidika devatanam eva tatra pramukhyam bhavediti. That's why he probably brings up Indranyadyaha devataha iti. Right? So even whenever it is, if you want to attain a good husband, then you have to worship a devata here, a devi, some form of Shakti here. Idila in Gopangana kila yadarchana punyamatrat same sada bhagavati bhavatu prasanna. So in order to attain Krishna as pati, the gopis did a vratam called Katyayani vratam. They worshipped Amba and then they attained Krishna as a pati during Rasa Krida. That is given in a form of a shloka in Durga Chandrakala Stuti also. He says, Gopanganaha kila yad archana punyamatrat. Just by doing archana or worship to Devi, they attained patim alabhanta iti. They got Krishna as the pati. So, Indranyadhyaha devataha griheshu eva santi. Any questions?
A small diversion maybe. When this started, culture of like from Indra, from there to Maheshwara or Vishnu happened in course of time, or why it happened? During that time, Vishnu is not there.
So not
Vishnu came
that
later.
Vishnu is not there or anything. See, something to think about only. Suddenly, off my mind, what I feel is, as the adharma increased, you needed the sthitikarta to come in to play, to dharma samsthapanarthaya. So in the Krita Yuga, dharma was standing on all four legs there. So there was no necessity for a sthapaka to come and kill people. So if you look at the episodes of Kurma Avatara or Varaha Avatara, the description is very less. Whereas as you go further and further, the adharma portion is more and more. So the role of Vishnu as a sthitikarta would have gained more power, is what I feel. So
actually, if you know this Kavyakanta Ganapati Muni, he wrote some sutras called Maheshwara Indra Abheda Sutras. So what now people called as Maheshwara is Indra that time.
Probably this is what it was. No, in Krita Yugam, where the yajnas were more prominent, Indra had more power then. That's why. Archa pujayami ityasya pujayam ityasya dhatoho adrishat va iti nichaha. I think this is an Unadi Sutra. See, he doesn't, the newer edition doesn't give the numbers here. There was there is no number here also. Amazing. So you can search for the niche or whatever. Adrishat va iti nichaha vikalpitatvat archa iti rupam. Okay, instead of archa, it can also be archa. Okay. Or I don't know. Nanu tarhi shreyaskaram tapaha eva kimartham upekshiyate. Why? See, if tapas is also shreyaskaram, devata pujanam griheshu devata pujanam api shreyaskaram eva. Then why should you ignore tapas when that can also provide a good benefit? For that, there is a specific reason that Mena gives here. She says, Tapaha kwa tamakam vapuhu cha kwa. Kathina shariraihi munibihi eva kartum shakyam tapaha kwa kutra. Where is the tapas which has to be performed by muni, by sages who have a hardened body? Tavakam twadiyam vapuhu. How is her body? How is Parvati's deha? Atyanta komalam vapuhu. It must be very soft here. And kwa atyanta kathina sharira sadhyasya tapasaha prakritya komalasya tava sharirasya cha paraspara anvayaha durghataha eva. It is very difficult to imagine the combination of such a Sukumara, such a soft form doing a very hard tapas. So, atyanta kathina sharira sadhyasya tapasaha prakritya komalasya tapasaha is one portion. Prakritya komalasya tavara sharirasya cha paraspara anvayaha durghataha. Connection of these two is very difficult. So, this is an alankara called Vishama alankara. When you use the word kwa and try to say two things in the same, where is this and where is this? How can these two come together? Kwa surya prabhavo vamshaha, kwa cha alpa vishayamatihi. Where is my mind and where is the surya vamsha? Still, I am trying to do this act of describing Surya Vamsha. So that is also another example of Vishama Alankara, where you are trying to point out the disparity between the two. Paraspara Anvaya Abhavameva Utpadayati. To substantiate that, he uses a general statement here and says, Pelavam Shirisha Pushpam Brahmarasya Padam Saheta Patatrinaha Punaha Na. Pelavam Prakritya Mridu Brahmarasya Prakritya eva mridu. It is by nature the legs of a brahmaram, the legs of a bee is very soft. Prakritya mridu. And the word brahmara he uses here also comes from the dhatu brahmu. Brahmu anavasthane. It cannot stand in one position. If that bee was standing on that flower for a long time, then also the flower cannot stand that bee. Because the bee is by nature keeps on it moving, it flits around, right? It doesn't stay in one position. Anavasthane. That is why the flower is also able to tolerate the feet of the bees. So, chira avasthane tadapi dussahameva iti bhavaha. If it had the capability of staying there for a long time and getting the honey out of the flower, then it cannot stand even that. You take a flower and keep on touching it constantly, it will immediately fade because of the heat or the touch from our body. It's natural. Whereas it stays for a longer time if it is there on the plant. Padam pada vinyasam saheta iti sambhavanayam ling. It is possible for the flower to tolerate only a bee's foot, but not a pakshi. Pakshinaha padam iti atrapi yojyam saheta iti cha yojyam yatha brahmara avasthana kshamam shirisha pushpam pikadi avasthanam na sahate. Just as how a flower, Shirisha Pushpa, which is capable of holding a bee, but it is not capable of the step of it. It cannot tolerate the step of a pika. Pika iti shuka pika kokila. Tatha komalataram tava shariram. Point here is Parvati's form is very soft. So kathina sharira sadhyam tapascharitum akshamameva. It's not capable of doing this tapas, which is only possible by a kathina shariram. Atra purvardhe vishamaalankaraha kvachit yat ati vaishamyat na sleshaha ghatanam iyat. Sleshaha is mixing. That is ati vaishamyat, because there is a big difference between the two of them. There can never be a point where these two can come together. Iti varnane chet vishamaalankaraha. This is a definition he takes from Kavya Prakasha. Ananurupayoho ghatana eva vishamaalankaraha is simpler. Uttarardhe tu sadrishya nimittaha arthantaranyasa. Arthantaranyasa can be, justifying a point, samarthanam, or here it is more to do, the nimittam here is not samarthanam, but it is samarthanam eva, but it is more towards sadrishyam. The hetu is sadrishyam here. He is comparing a bee, a flower, and a bird. On this side, he is comparing Parvati's rupam with the tapas and grihe devatarchana. Okay. So, sadrishyam is the basis for this justification. Arthantaranyasa.
So
and it's samsrishti.
How do you distinguish between it? And I mean, I could think of this as aprastuta prashamsa, right? Like I could say, aprastutam, which is the brahmara, and
okay.
Right?
Why is it not? Then this is prastutam is given in the first half of the shloka.
Okay. So then
that's why it cannot be aprastuta prashamsa.
Okay. Then if I can think of it as samasokti.
Samasokti is also not possible because this is not our aprastutam. Sorry, this is not the prastutam.
Okay, so it doesn't fall in either camp.
Yeah. So it is an arthantaranyasa.
How do you say it's not prastutam? Because I'm referring to Parvati as the flower. Yes.
Of course it is not. There is only a description of the flower, Brahmara and Patatri. Where is the description of Parvati's Bapuhu?
So in the Samasokti, actually, when I use some kind of upama, actually mean the prastuta by it. Like you'd say, Raktaha Chumbati Chandrama, that example, right?
So, Ayam Aindri Mukham Pashya, Raktas Chumbati Chandramaha. I want to describe the Chandrama. I want to describe the eastern direction, face. Prachi dik tatra vartate.
Okay, so that is the intent. Here, the intent is not the Brahmara. It is, okay.
The intent is also substantiated by the aprastuta. No, Samasukti will have, you will have to have two me.
Samasukti will have the prastutam in it.
Yeah. Prastutam vachye tu prastutam bhavati, aprastutasya akshepaha bhavati tatra.
Akshepaha bhavati, okay. So here, vachye aprastutam bhavati.
This part is contextual. This is prastutam. This is aprastutam. Rendu irukilla. Then you cannot have either aprastuta prashamsa or samasukti.
Okay, so then it will be okay.
It should be a justification point. It is not kavyalingam because there is no hetu prasakti here.
Okay, and it is not nidarshana because?
Nidarshana vandu, there should be upamana vakyam and upameya vakyam, no?
So inga vandu upamana vakyam nama
nidar yadatu somyata seyam purna indor akalankata yat tat, you need to have yat tat here.
So here we do, even though we kind of mean that, like, you know, just like you are so
meaning edukadingo, don't look at what is being suggested here. That is, you'll have to look at the vachyartha for an alankara.
Okay, so in the vachyartha space we don't have that yattat explicitly said, so it falls back to arthantaranyasa, where we are bringing a lokukti and
exactly that is why
justifying this. I see.
Yes,
I see.
Okay.
Ma'am, can you go to that arch? I thought it's lot of arch. Why that Unadi Sutra came?
I don't know. It's not Unadi Sutram. It's some other Sutra.
Like I thought lot of archa is archa pujayam, lot is archa.
Okay.
It's as simple as that. So why all this came is
archa tu
no, so it's madhyama purusha. Archa, archatat.
Yeah.
Archatam, archata.
Okay. Now you're asking me to give an example. You check out the.
No, I'm checking the site and I see directly it's lot madhyama purusha. So why this?
Archa pujayam ityasti va tatra.
Archa pujayam tatra lot madhyama purusha ekavachana archa. That's it.
Click on that archa and see. It's a chuраದಿಗಣ. Bhadi pura.
In the Bhadi it is archa.
Yeah, it's Vadigana. Yeah, in Vadigana.
Bhadi arche.
Archa pujayam.
Lot. Archa, archatat is there, no? So there is a. Yeah. So if you click on archa, I don't know why he gives that. He can.
Okay. I thought it's niche something. So I thought like why niche came suddenly.
Oh, niche means then you have to look at the other archa pujayam. There is a chuраದಿಗಣ archa, archayati iti. Look at the archayati form. There it has archa, archatat, archayatat, archaya, both are there. That is why the va is there.
Okay.
You see that?
I saw archa, but
No, go to archa pujayam, archayami, archayati. It is a chuраದಿಗಣ. There is a niche already there.
Okay.
And that niche is vikalpa. So in lot, you can have both archa as a form for the chuраದಿಗಣ. You can also have archaya as a form.
Okay. So why is bringing that context here? Do we have archaya?
He says archa pujayam iti da. He tries to give that also here. That's all. It can either be a pujayam in churadi or you can take it as a bhadi.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay.
In both cases, it will work. That's all. Okay. मनीषितायार्च गृहेषु देवताः तपः क्ववत्से क्वचतावकं वपुः शिरीष पदं सहेत भ्रमरस्य पेलवं शिरीषपुष्पं न पुनः पतत्रिणः इति स्थिरेच्छाम् अनुशासती सुतां शशाकमेना न नियन्तुमुद्यमात् कैप्सितार्थस्थिरनिश्चयं मनः पयश्च निम्नाभिमुखं प्रतीपयेत् स्थिर इच्छां सुतां इति अनुशासती Mena who was trying to advise her daughter Sutam sthira ichcham. She was very steadfast in her ichcha, in her desire. She did not want to swerve from the desire at all. So sthira ichcham Sutam anushasati, trying to advise her daughter. Sutam sthira ichcham Sutam udyamat niyantum na shashaka. Na shashaka, she was not able to niyantum, control her from this exercise that she wanted to do. You know, she wanted to go there. Udyamaha is more like an utsaha. There was an utsaha on Devi's part, Parvati's part here, to go to the forest and do tapas. Mena could not shake her from that at all because Parvati was sthira nischaya, sthirecha. Ka ipsitartha sthira nischayam manaha payaha cha nimna abhimukam pratipayet. There are two things here. One is prastutam, the other is aprastutam. The prastutam here is her mind, which was sthira nischayam, which had a firm resolve with regards to her ipsita artha, her desired. Whatever she wanted to achieve, her mind had a firm resolve here. So sthira nischayam manaha. Nischayam sthiraha nischyaha yasmin tat manaha. Iti sthira nischayam manaha. It was completely resolved to go to do tapas. Kaha pratipayet? Who can turn it away from the resolve? Nobody can turn Parvati's mind away from attaining Shiva. So it is very difficult to kap pratipayet, one who can turn the flow of the mind. The same way, payahacha, water also, if it is going from above to down, nimna abhimukam, if it is running towards nimna, a lower desha, then it is difficult to turn the water back. Have you seen this painting by Escher, M.S. Escher or no? It's called The Waterfall. Chuma, you can just look up on Google. It's an optical illusion painting. So it will seem like the water flows from one side and it is actually going up on the other side. So water can only flow down. It cannot flow up. But he would have created a painting, a black and white painting, where it seems that the water is going up. It's an illusion. So payaha nimna abhimukam payaha tu kaha pratipayet? Who can turn it away from its target? So she could not stop Parvati from going to tapas. It's the import here. Yeah. Itham pravrittasya janani vachanasya sthira vyavasayayam devyam vaiphalyam aha. Devi, who had a vyavasaya, is her effort, which was sthiram. She wanted to do it, and that's it. She wanted to do it with the permission of her parents, because she is still answerable to her parents. They have to say yes for her to go to the forest. Right? So she was waiting for that. Janani, pravrittasya janani vachanasya, sthira vyavasayayam devyam vaiphalyam. The words that Mena had started saying were completely a failure with respect to Devi here, who wanted to achieve what she wanted. That's how. So Mena Sutam iti anushasati udyamat niyantum na shashaka. Sutam atmanah putrim. Idam anushasane hetuhu. She had the right to tell her because she was Suta. She was her daughter. Atmanah putri iti karanat tatra anushasane yogya bhavati. Iti purvokta prakarena. Anush iti is equal to Purvokta Prakarena. In the earlier shloka were the words of Mena. She tried to stop her by saying that, tapas is too hard. Your body is so used to the palace luxuries. Why do you want to put your body through this? Ityadikam tu Anushasati. She was trying to advise her. Anushasati iti hetau shatra pratyaya. So Anushasanena hetuna api, even though she tried to give her an advice, still udyamate niyantum na shashaka. So this is a hetu here. It's not generally just a shatra pratyaya, but the shatra pratyaya also indicates a hetu here. So udyamat Munimvrata udyogat niyantum nivartayatum na shakta abhut. Shashaka is in lit lakara. So here he says she could not stop her from going for this muni, performing the austerities of a muni. Atra hetu maha sthira ichham iti. Sthira vyavasayam. One whose resolve was sthiram, was firm. Asya hetoho sadhyena vyaptim darshayati. So hetu sadhya, why could she not stop? If you look at it, Mena anushasati api, even though she tried to advise, even with the advice, udyamate tam nivartayitum na shashaka. She could not stop Parvati from going for this tapas. Why? Because Parvati was sthira nischaya. Parvato vanniman dhumat. You have the hetu there. Then you have to show the vyapti here. What is the vyapti? So it is very difficult to turn back a mind which is firm in its resolve, nor can you turn back water which is flowing towards the downhill, towards a lower position or lower incline. Ipsitartha sthira nischayam manaha nimna abhimukam payaha cha kaha pratipayet. Who can turn it back? Ipsite abhishte arthe. Ipsitartha sthira nischayam. Abhipsite arte. Abhishta arte vastuni sthiraha achanchalaha nischyaha yasya tadrasham manaha. Mind which has a unwavering decision with regards to the whatever it desires. So ninna pradesham prati abhimukam krita pravaham payaha jalam cha kaha pratipayet kaha nivartayet. It is very difficult to turn back the water which is flowing down, nor is it and it is not possible to turn back a mind which is also fixed on a target. Na kopi. Atra deepaka arthantaranyasa sankaraha. Now the arthantaranyasa is, let's say, so this is again a prastuta here. This is the aprastuta portion. In this aprastuta portion also, this part, Parvatyaha manaha, is actually a prastutam. It is difficult to turn her mind back. Payaha, nimnamibukam payaha, a water which is flowing towards a lower position, is the aprastutam. Kaha pratipayet. Iti chet tatra pratinivartanam tu ashakyam is the common dharma between both your prastutam manaha and aprastutam payaha. This is Deepaka Alankara. So in Deepaka Alankara, you have a dharma aikyam between prastuta and aprastuta. This is Deepaka Alankara. But if you take the whole shloka, this first part being the prastutam, this is the aprastuta, and this justifies the first part. So this is a lokokti. It is difficult to, everybody knows that when a water is flowing down, you cannot turn it back. You cannot turn the flow of the water upwards, right? Unless the force is so much that it can go up. That is special condition. Normally, when a water is flowing down, it is difficult to turn the flow of the water up, right? So this portion justifies the first portion. So it is an Arthantaranyasa Alankara also. Now these two, Arthantaranyasa and Deepaka, are together in the same Vakyam, mixed together. That's why this is also Sankaraha. So he says, Iti Deepaka Arthantaranyasayoho Sankaraha. Which type of Sankara is Sandeha Sankara? I would rather put it as Sandeha Sankara than Angangi Bhava Sankara.
What is the difference between Sandeha and Angangi?
Sandehana, which gets importance, is doubtful here.
Oh,
What is the pradhanam? What is the angi? What is the angi and what is the anga? There is a doubt with respect to the placement of the two.
okay. Okay, but it is Sankara meaning Nirakshira, right?
Yes.
Which means you really can't separate them.
Yes.
Okay. So when we say payascha nimnabhimukam kaha pratipayet, I mean that clearly is a lokokti where it is showing the cause. But kaha ipsitartha stira nishchayam manah pratipayet, that is also part of
It's a
the.
samanyam that is being said here.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Okay.
it is arthantranyasa. Okay.
Okay.
It's a nice alankara example also.
Yeah, it's really nice. Yeah.
इति स्थिरेच्छाम् अनुशासति सुतां शशाकमेना न नियन्तु मुद्यमात् कैप्सितार्थस्थिरनिश्चयं मनः पयश्च निम्नाभिमुखं प्रतीपयेत् कदाचित् आसन्न सखीमुखेन सा मनोरथज्ञं पितरं मनस्विनी अयाचतारण्यनिवासमात्मनः फलोदयान्ताय तपस्समाधये कदाचित् आसन्न सखीमुखेन सा मनोरथज्ञं पितरं मनस्विनी अयाचत अरण्यनिवासम् आत्मनः अरण्यनिवासम् अयाचत फलोदयान्ताय तपस्समाधये आत्मनः अरण्यनिवासम् ayachata. So kadachit, once, she must have probably had too many arguments with her mother constantly, or trying to convince her mother in many ways. One day her father would have come to visit. So kadachit, once, asanna sakhi mukhena, she was unable to say directly that she wants Shiva as her pati, and so she is going to do tapas to attain him. Iti sakshat pitaram vaktum ashaktasa. She tried to say through her, she said it through her Sakhi. So this Sakhi was appointed by Himavan also in the end of the third Sarga for, to just be as a confidant for her. She had also suffered such a big trauma, Manmatha being burnt right in front of her eyes, and Himavat Parvata took her to the palace back, and he asked the Sakhis to take care of her more carefully. So there is this Sakhi who is always nearby with her, Asanna Sakhi, like Vijaya probably. And tasyaha mukhena, through her mouth, which is through her words, sa Parvati Manorathajnam pitaram, sa manaswini. Manaswini here is one who had a resolve. Again, sthirachitta sa iti. So she had also one who had a firm resolve. She wanted to get this done. So she had to get permission from Himan here. So manaswini sa manorathajnam pitaram. He also knew about her manoratha. So manoratham janati saha pita iti karanat sakhi mukhena saha ayachata. She asked permission to go and stay in the forest. Atmanaha aranya nivasam ayachata. But not permanently also. Permanently comes later after marriage. Wherever Shiva takes, she is going to go. That is different. Adhunatu phala udaya antaya tapas samadhaye ayachata. She wished for, or she asked for, to do tapas samadhi, the concentrated tapas, let's say, okay, which will result in the phalam. Phala udaya antaya. She wanted to perform tapas, which had its end as phala udaya. Until she achieved her result, she wanted to go and do tapas. She did not determine, I'm going to do for 6 months, try, and then if not, I'm going to come back. Tatha nasti. She wanted to try till she achieved her result, and she was asking permission for that. Yeah.
If it does not work with one, go for other. If it does not work with mother, go for other.
Something. That's what she does actually. She starts off with a very simple process, and then she goes into Panchagni tapas, Aparna iti. There are so many stages that she goes through to please Shiva. She became an exemplar for the rishis who were staying in that forest also. Beautiful description here. evam ankuritasya utsahasya kramena vriddhim varnayitum. See, it would have started, sometimes it takes a long time to realize some desire that we have in our mind. தமிழ்ல சொல்லுவோம், எடுத்தோம் கவுத்தோன்னு காரியம் பண்ண முடியாதும்பா. இல்லையா? You start a work and you immediately, there is in your mind, if you have a desire, you can't immediately get it fulfilled. That's not how things happen. It takes time for it to solidify, and then for it to come out in the form of a request to her mother. Her mother came back with so many things. Imagine, it goes through a couple of adhyayas in Shiva Puranam. The whole process is described there. So then it reaches her father. Then her father has to give permission. So ankuritasya utsahasya, utsaham, or that enthusiasm that she wants to do that tapas, it just started off as a sprout. Now it slowly grew to the point that she asked permission from her father. Sa kadachit pitaram phalodayantaya tapassamadhaye atmanaha aranyanivasam asanna sakhi mukhena ayachata. Kadachit prashna avasare labdhe. When there was a time, there is always a ஒரு இடம் பொருள் ஏவல் வேண்டாமா? காலஹா சமயஹா இங்கிதஜ்ஞஹா, you need to understand the situation, and then only you can ask a question like this. Phalodaya phalapraptau eva antaha avasanam yasya tadrishaya tapassamadhaye. So this is an adjective to tapassamadhi. Tapasi yaha samadhihi chitta aikagriyam. The concentration of the mind is samadhi. Samadhi can come from many things, not only tapas, dhyanam, tapas, archana, puja, archanayam api. It is possible when you are doing laksharchana. There can be a time where, no, there is an episode of Mahabharata, they would say, tatpada lakshyarthi namaha, or something like that is there. Lakshyarthaye namaha. It seems he just stopped for a moment, and he would be probably in that samadhi at that point of time. Some nama can also trigger that aikagriyam there. So that is he.
Lalita Sahasranama.
Yes.
Chitistatpada lakshyartha.
Chitistatpada lakshyartha. Adla chitistatpada
lakshyartha.
Lakshyarthaye namaha. Yes, that's the one.
Oh.
So it's a point of that also describes that. It gives that chitta aikagriyam. It can, for some people, it depends. Some people, as you are chanting, you can get into that samadhi state. But here she wanted a samadhi through tapas. So tapasi yaha samadhihi chitta aikagriyam tasmai. And how should that samadhi be? It should have phalapraptau eva antaha. The avasanam for that samadhi should be when she attains the phalam, when she attains the result. So yadyapi kadachitka manas samadhanam griha avasthane api sambhavet. It is possible for people to get that chitta aikagriyam, manas samadhanam, where your mind is completely freed of all the chitta vritti and it is one with that abstract thing, right? So that is possible, kadachitkam, sometime or the other. In the house also, it is possible. But then if you want to be without any distractions and try to do it until you get your phalam, it has to be in a different ambience, right? So tathapi phalodaya paryante tapasi manassamadhanam aranyanivase eva sulabham. It is easier when you are in the forest, because you have no distractions. Nobody is going to say, why are you in tapas for 5 hours? Nobody will be there to stop her from all this. So it's easier to follow whatever she wants as far as tapas goes in the forest. So aranye kanane nivasam asannayaha samipavartinyaha sakhyaha mukhena, through her sakhi who was nearby. Now, this Sakhi has an important thing in the Vyakhyanam here. The Narayana Pandita says, Ya pitriniyogat anavaratam atmanaha samipe vartate saeva atra asanna sakhi ityuchyate. Pitriniyogat. in the third Sarga, at the end, her father appointed some Sakhi to look after Parvati. So according to the orders of her father, the Sakhi who is constantly with her knows her state very clearly, and also has a, she is like a conduit or a messenger between her father and her to relay the message that she likes Shiva and she wants to do tapas. So, Ubhayatra Visrambhaha Uktaha. Tena, because of saying Asanna Sakhi, she probably has she is trusted on both sides. Both sides here is she is trusted by both her father and by Parvati. So, Ubhayatra Visrabdhaha hi bandhuhu artha sadhakaha bhavati. Only if a relative who is trusted by both people, there is something can be achieved out of it. Otherwise, if one person is constantly, if the middleman should always be a middleman there, right? He should look at what is good for both sides and try to say. That's how she is with him. He takes her to a higher level here, this Sakhi. Ayachata yachitavati pituhu abhilasha sadhakatve hetum maha. Why did she, what is the purpose of asking her father? She has asked her mother several times, but she has tried to dissuade her in vain only. It was not possible to dissuade Parvati at all. That's fine. But how is she sure that her father will give permission? Of course, this is where the relationship of a father and a daughter comes in. If daughters are always very close to the father and can get things done. So he also knows the daughter's desire here. So manoratham janati iti tatha. Manoratha swarupasya sarvaloka durvaratvam jananam ityartha. He knows that not only does he know her desire, he also takes it in a samanya avastha. He doesn't take manoratha as just Parvatyaha manoratham saha pita janati iti. Tathana. Samanya rupena manorathasya swarupaha tu kidrishaha vartate. Sarvaloka dirvaratvam. It is very difficult for people to stop their desires. That is the general nature of manoratha. A desire, or if you look at the lakshanam of a desire, it is something that will go on its own. Nobody can stop it. Right? So Jananam, he knew about the nature, the general nature of Manoratha also. So Devyaha Phalodayante Tapasi Samarthyam. Now he brings in her adjective Manaswini Sa iti. The word Manaswini itself indicates that she is a Sthira Chitta. I have tried to find the source for the shloka. I couldn't find it. If you can, please let me know. Mahakarye Kritodyogaha Vignair ahata manasaha prarabdham na tyajati yaha samanasvi iti kathyate. Yaha mahakarye krita udyogaha. One who has made a great effort in a work which is also requires such a great effort. So mahakarye yaha udyogam karoti. Vignaihi ahata manasaha. So Vigna, obstacles are never physical problems. Obstacles are always mental problems. You have to try to overcome them, not a physical obstacle here, right? So Ahata Manasaha, his mind is one whose mind is being hit by Vigna, obstacles. Yaha Prarabdham na tyajati, one who does not let go of anything that he has started. Sayeva Manasvi. This is very similar to the Niti Shatakam shloka, right? Prarabhyate nakhalu vigna bhayena nichaihi. Prarabhya vigna vihataha viramanti madhyaha. Prarabdham uttam vignair punah punaha upahanyamana prarabdham uttama jana na parityajanti. Those they do not. It's only the lower category of people who will stop. Who will not stop because of Vigna. Vigna bhayena eva na prarabhyante eva. They do not even start their work. The middle category of people, when they are hit by one Vignam, they will immediately stop their work. They will not pursue it. Whereas the Uttama Janaha tu prarabdham na parityajanti. They do not stop whatever they have started, even if they are being hit by obstacles again and again. Punah punaha abhihanyamana api na tyajanti. So
Mahoday,
she is
if you go to the just a little bit above, pituhu abhilasha sadhakatve. So pituhu abhilasha va asya parvatyaha abhilasha kila atra.
न न मनोरथ पितुः अभिलाषसाधकत्वे हेतुम् आह न पिता एव तत्र अभिलाषसाधकः भवति इति तस्मिन् साधकत्वं वर्तते. सो तस्य साधकत्वे कः हेतुः?
अभिलाष साधकत्वं पितरि
पार्वत्याः अभिलाषः वर्तते. तत् कः साधयति? पिता एव साधयति.
कथं?
Because he has to give permission, no?
Oh, adukka permission. Na marriage with Shiva is her abhilasha.
Her abhilasha is that, and it has for marriage of Shiva also, he has to give, Pita has to give permission for her to go to the forest.
Oh, one component. Oh, for the sadhakatum, the one component is first he has to give permission, and then she has to do sadhana and tapas and all those things. Okay, but the first step is the sadhaka. He will become the sadhaka by giving permission. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And then at the end also, she will say, "You go and ask my father for my hand."
Yeah.
There also he has to come in. कदाचिद् आसन्न सखीमुखेन सा मनोरथज्ञं पितरं मनस्विनी अयाचतारण्य निवासमात्मनः फलोदयान्ताय तपस्समाधये.
So he gives permission because he knows the nature of desire which cannot be stopped. So that is the hetu.
Yeah.
Okay. But there is no alankara as such.
You can parikara alankaram aduvum seripattu varadilla. It is not a parikara alankara.
Manaswini
அது வந்து பரிக்கர அங்குரம் சொல்லலாம்.
Okay.
பரிக்கர அலங்கார வேணா சொல்லிக்கலாங்க. யா அத விட காவ்யலிங்கம் வந்து பதார்த்த ஹேதுகம் காவ்யலிங்கம் can be a possibility here because மனோரதஜ்ஞः பிதா इति कारणात् अयाचत. So you can probably say there is a padartha hetukam kavyalingam.
Got it.
Okay. Yeah.